Hello, once again, this is Mona for Fandom Sound, and we are reading Impertinence, Part 3 by Amarissia, and I forgot what I was going to say, so I think that we will just skip right to the story. Alright. Oh, I am sorry that I'm not including very much music on these, but these installments took a little longer to record, so I don't have time to put the music on with the YouTube timeline. But anyway, to the story. Sephiroth regarded the stuffed Bandersnatch as one might have worthy but distrusted adversary. Even a horde of real Bandersnatches was no danger to him, so he shouldn't feel uncomfortable in the presence of this harmless toy, but it seemed to represent something threatening, something he had no precedent for dealing with. This is absurd, the general told himself. Just destroy the damn thing and forget about it. Fire was a bad idea. It always led to examinations and questions from Hojo that anyone else would only ask a mental patient. That he could shred it with Masamune and let the swift movement of the sword vent his frustration and calm him, as it always did. And yet something held him back. Sephiroth was not cruel in his heart. He did not kill you unless it was absolutely necessary, and this creature held a stance that was playful, not aggressive. As a toy, it didn't think to be intimidated by the famous general or beg for mercy. It couldn't imagine that it would offend anyone. It only sought to please with its oddly bright eyes and eager smile. This is absurd, Sephiroth thought again. But this ridiculous thing was from Fair. It was harmless as the boy was harmless. Fair must have touched it. Had he even hugged it, perhaps? Isn't that what the young did with such objects? Though he knew he was alone, Sephiroth quickly glanced around his quiet apartment. Satisfied that no one could see him, he slowly reached for the Bandersnatch and lifted it up, letting it dangle from his hand like an unknown and possibly hazardous substance. Its fur was very soft, and the body of it less firm than Sephiroth had expected. When he squeezed it experimentally, it molded to the shape of his hand, like a small pillow, only squishier. That word was not even one Sephiroth used, even mentally, but he could think of no other to properly describe it. Perhaps he was reminded of Angeal, of his stoic friend's inexplicable attachment to the battered stuffed Moogle he'd had since infancy. Angeal had tried to explain it, had offered to let him hold it to demonstrate, and Sephiroth had shaken his head, reminded once more of the gaping chasm between himself and everyone else. Here was another thing that belonged only to other people. Two hands held the Bandersnatch now, turning it over to examine it, absently noticing the way it felt almost pleasant against the skin. Sephiroth had no memory of toys, except a vague recollection of a kind-faced man waving something brightly colored over his crib and laughing before Hojo's shrill voice ordered him away. Sephiroth didn't like to remember this, didn't like to think of the kind man at all. After all, there had been lights and the sounds of the lab to entertain him, nurses who picked him up as soon as Hojo left the room, then tutors and books, then his sword. If this progression had been different, would he have been different? What possible difference could a lump of stuffing and synthetic fur have made? Sephiroth wasn't sure, but the question vaguely pained him. Without thinking about it would perhaps have kept it from happening, Sephiroth brought the toy to his chest and awkwardly pressed it there. It flattened, spreading its warmth in the softness, then relaxed into its previous shape as he loosened his grip. Nothing bad happened. It was a pleasant enough sensation. But it was the thought of Fair having cuddled this thing that made him feel strange, sort of tingly. Static electricity, he decided, though he knew it wasn't and had always been somehow immune to such shocks anyway. It didn't seem right to destroy the toy now, and he couldn't throw it or give it away, since his most zealous fans could find out about it. The only thing to do was keep it in a hidden place and forget about it, and luckily Sephiroth had one of those. He purposefully went to the bedroom closet, stepped inside, and carefully opened a loose panel in the far corner that was impossible to see unless you knew exactly where to look. It revealed a secret compartment known only to him, where Sephiroth kept hidden all the things that were important to him for reasons he couldn't or didn't want to explain. There was a branch hung with dried apple leaves from Bonora, the picture of a mansion that he had taken out of a book, feeling that the structure was very familiar, and not knowing where from. A notebook page of doodles and scribbles in Dr. Gast's unsteady and preoccupied hand. Mostly it was photographs, mainly of Genesis and Angele, and of one young man with wind-blown hair and brown hazel eyes that looked amber in the light of the camera and sun, smiling obliviously. Sephiroth quickly turned that one over and put it aside. He placed the Bandersnatch in the compartment, settling it near a photo of Angele and himself in Wutai. Now he could see and touch it any time he wanted to. Not that he planned to do so, but he reasoned. It would simply remain safe here while he figured out how to best dispose of it. Sephiroth reached out to close the compartment and found himself running a hand just one more time over the toy's mussed fur. Farah would have done this, at least. Sephiroth could picture it. Perhaps he should have sniffed the toy to see if Fair's scent lingered on the animal at all, but then he had no idea what Fair smelled like, and why was he thinking about such things? Enough of this. Sephiroth firmly pushed the panel shut, resolving to go kill something to distract himself. Instead, he sat silently with his knees gathered to his chest and stared at it for a long time.
And that was the end of part 3 of Impertinence. And what I think is kind of funny is I semi-prefer my sick voice over my well-ish voice. I don't know. And then kind of really don't at the same time. But yeah, until the next installment, I wish you all honey and smut, and lots of pomegranate tea and flu shots and not getting sick because it's not fun. And I will not cough right now. No, I will not cough. But the song that I'm going to play is called Hero/Heroine by Boys Like Girls, and which is music that I would usually never ever listen to. But I heard it today, and it just kind of reminded me a lot of Zach for some reason. So yeah, I'm gonna play it, and once again, just see me for the MP3s, and please, 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 please send me requests for stories, send me requests for music, I'm begging you. I'm loving this. But, no, feel free to, I don't bite. And, if I don't want to read a story, I'm not gonna go, or something, so. I just don't want it to be, stuff that I'm reaching out to read. I want to know what you guys want me to read. So, yeah, just send me stuff. And send me music, too, because, I don't have the same taste in music as everyone else does. But, yeah, until then, honey and smut.
It's too late, baby, there's no turning around. I got my hands in my